Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Champions Meet for your Hanshin Turf 1600 meters. For this track, the meta game for this track is actually going to revolve around the downhill being perfectly placed near the end of the track, plus the 500 meter straight line. This means that, first off, pace chasers have access to a +1 XL because the downward descent is going to be very good here. Nishino Flower, Rice Shower, for example, have that goal skill innately built, so they are actually quite strong for this track. After that, we have that 500 meters at the end. It means that guts is going to be quite important for dueling, because 500 meters of straight line means that dueling is going to be very significant for trying to win here. Finishing speed skills are very good here. Right, so that's going to be the definition for the meta game here. Front runners are going to be a bit off meta here, sadly, but it's not impossible for them to run all the way in front and still secure a very strong lead and win from there. It's not impossible, but just much harder because of all the other possible positions that can win on this track here. Pace is strong, lead is strong, and is strong. Front runner need to put more effort than last time to go and really get a very strong win here. Okay, after that, for a very special mention, the good old White Horse Devil has returned. Express Aguri is a perfect proc again on this track because of her end closer after school stroll recovery. It will perfectly trigger her Festive Miracle, which will just straight up win her the game. Right, so that is the logic here for N Xmas Aguri. She will rely on after school stroll, and hopefully you hit it every single time, but there will be some times where you don't hit 3 recoveries, so you just lose the game. Right, there's no +1 recovery here, so Xmas is going to be a little bit more volatile, but still able to win a lot of your CMs here. Alright, so with that in mind, let us move on to the parenting options here for this track. For this track, in particular for fronts and for pacers, you will be using Nishino Flower or Seiyun Sky. The reason why I recommended Seiyun Sky to pace is because first place, lucky pacer, not impossible. There will be less front runners here, or there will be some really shitty V-Bourbons here. Right, then you can just go and overtake them and still win from there. There will of course be some front runner fanatics who will really do all they can to make their front runners win. Then that one, the Seiyun Sky will be a little bit harder to go and trigger. Right, for late surges and closers, you only really have Majiro Ryan, and for late surges, if you want to copium, you can kind of take the Nishino Flower if you want. But it's not mandatory because there's just a lot more other interesting options now since the buffs to the on your left and the new addition of a Daichi Ruby power card for this CM. That card is going to be a +1 XL, so you don't really need to rely on a gambling XL like Majiro Ryan, but you can go and buy it just so you can go and gamble with it. Right, so these are your options here. Notice I never mentioned Taiki Shuttle. It's because shooting for victory is going to be only usable on herself like a lot of other times, where it's only usable for her. Right, the activation timing here is a bit too short if you inherit it, so you will really not be buying the Taiki Shuttle unique on every one of your pace chasers. Right, so with that, we also have the late race velocity skills, such as your Fuji Kiseki and your Oguri Cap. Right, those are, I don't think I need to really explain them. They just have 0.25 speed at the end. Narrator Brian is going to have a very nice proc in the mid leg that can maybe even sometimes give you a carryover for 0.25. Sometimes you need to be block side. After that, for Symbolic Rudolph and Digitan, they are more better on the late surges and closers just because they require you to overtake. And then for your front runners, you have a mid-race velocity in the form of your Mihono Bourbon. It's going to be quite nice if it's very cheap, so you can go and cycle her into your parenting lineage if you want. The addition of autoplay has made parenting a lot easier, so I hope a lot of you take advantage of that to try and make a very strong parenting lineage to pass down to your children in grand life. For debuffers, the only one you need to know is 564. Alright, 564, then after that, the only 2 skills you need to know is Dominator and Keen Eye. Just take Tachyon, just take Grass Wonder, just slap a Ghost City card on it, bam, hunt down for Hesitance, boom, you are done. That's literally all you need to do for this CM if you want to go and do debuffing strategies. Right, no problem at all. Okay, after that, in terms of the stat lines that we're aiming for, the stamina for this track is not going to be super high. Don't have to worry so much about it. Alright, I know the medium, you are like, oh my god, why is the stamina so freaking high? Why am I dying to murmurs? Right, but thankfully for Mal, it's not going to be that crazy. For Mal CM in particular, the stamina is going to be a typical 600 stam plus 500 guts, which the natural inheritance will be able to help you to hit already. Right, but otherwise, yep, stat lines wise, we are mainly aiming for, again, maximum speed as much as possible. We're aiming for 600 stam, aiming for 500 guts, and more guts is better because of dueling, obviously, right? But don't go too high on the guts if you must sacrifice other stuff, because your power, I really want you guys to try to aim for 1300 power if possible. The reason why you aim for that much power is just because power conservation is giving you more acceleration. Do not dump power on a short CM like this. It is going to be very detrimental to your win. After that, for wit, get as high as possible, but again, don't sacrifice power and speed to go and pump your wit. So it's going to be priority-wise, max speed first priority. That's the highest priority. Second priority, in my opinion, is power. Power as much as possible is very significant, followed by wit as the last one, and guts as the fourth one. Alright, guts is nice, but really cannot sacrifice your other stats. Alright, so that's the sidelines to aim for. Let's talk about the tier list in general, the horses.
Hello everybody, this is CatcherLP. I'm cutting in here basically to talk a little bit about this tier list before we actually get to the tier list. Because of how many Excel options we have on cards, this CM is one of the first real CMs where basically anyone can really have a chance of playing, right? Daichi Ruby Power is the first example. It gives lates and ends a 0.4 Excel. That plus something like On Your Left for lates, which is also another 0.4 Excel, first half phase random, is very likely to hit very well because shorter tracks like Miles is very likely to proc good and to give you an actual good amount of boost, right? So when we talk about neck and neck, which is on Daiwa Power, Paces have that, plus Nishino Flower inherit, so that's another 0.2. So Paces have 0.6, and Lates have 0.8 Excel options. That is to say that you have enough Excel via cards to make almost anyone work, right? And so our B tier and C tier here are ones that we thought were good enough, and we're not even going to cover them because in reality, the difference between B tier and C tier and anything that's not on the tier list is so minimal. If you play Grand Live well, if you get a good amount of SP, if you have the right cards to get yourself the Excels, or you have really good parents to give yourself the Excel options, you can make any Uma work on this track. I sincerely believe that. So that is to say, hey, the A tiers and S tiers, we do think they're a little bit better, but if you don't see anything on this tier list, don't really worry too much about it. Just try and make your Oshi work. Mile and Sprint CMs are inherently volatile, and this is before some of the insane milers come out. So that is to say, just play what you want, and I think you will probably have a decent win rate if you make them well. Anyways, back to the tier list.
We have the A tier horses. For A tier horses, again, Oguri is here. Oguri can be run in pace, late, and end, right? So Oguri can be made in 3 different ways. Whichever position you want to make, at least she has Triumphant Pulse. So she's gonna carry you, and she does have Nimble Navigator, although that is kind of shit for this CM because it is a final corner CM. Right. After that, we have your Camping Dober. Camping Dober is extremely powerful. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. This horse is very, very, very strong on this track. Then after that, we have your Pace Chaser options, Taiki, both of them, Nishino Flower, and Fine Motion Wedding. Fine Motion Wedding and Taiki Camping have one shared ability, which is neck and neck. They have the golden hit on, so it's very, very powerful stuff to have. And they also like Final Corners, and Taiki Shuttle in particular loves to have her Triumphant Pulse unique. Her unique is very similar to Triumphant Pulse, that's why I like to call it that. But ultimately, they are both very strong Pace Chaser options, and OG Taiki and Nishino share the 0.4 Excel at a very good timing. So they will have very, very strong acceleration options in their kit, plus Taiki has Mile Maven, plus Nishino has Determined Descent. So they are very, very strong options here, right? Whichever option you go here, I think there's really no wrong answer here. After that, we move on to the S tier. Well, it's just an Xmas Oguri. This horse is not easy to make. It's a bit harder. Just a little bit, because you do need to hunt down the Enclosure Sparks, and then you need to hunt down the Mile S as well, because it's still going to be very significant. 1600 speed plus Mile S is a lot of speed, so we still want to hunt down the Mile S. So N Xmas Oguri only has D, which means you need to get it to A at least, so you can actually play the game for N Xmas Oguri. Okay, so that's it for the Uma tier list. Now we'll talk about the skills that you're going to be hunting for. For the skills, for the fronts and the paces, I already explained a few of them, but you essentially will be hunting down for fronts your Mile Maven. Pace also aim for Mile Maven. The Unrestrained skill is going to be okay gambling option, just wouldn't put it as a super high priority. And make sure you hunt down DDPP, your Dodging Danger and Prudent Positioning, or Aharu Wit. And after that, just hunt down all the other mid legs that you can find. For Pace Chaser, hunt down Umamusume, because getting blocked here is going to be very devastating. You need to be 3 and 4 to trigger your unique. So making sure that you are in front of the Pace Chaser hell that might appear, right, is going to be quite important here. Right, Maven is also going to be very valuable for you because first 5 positions still pretty damn good to go and use. So go and hunt them down if you want to, right? But honestly, for Pace, you have like so many different cards you can go and slot in if you have the luxury to go and hunt it down. Right, moving on to Lead Surger and Closer. Mandatory again, Umamusume. But for Lead Surgers, you hunt down Pedal to the Metal is your Lead Surger skill, followed by your Flash Forward, which comes from your Daichi Ruby power card, and on your left from Nice Nature. And Closer hunts down Daring Strike from your Mr. CB, and also hunts down the Daichi Ruby Flash Forward skill as well. Right, after that, hunt down as much mid leg as possible. For recommended team comps, we have typical main ace plus 2 Dominator. I don't care who your main ace is, just make sure that they can be very consistent and that you have invested a humongous amount of effort into making them very strong. Right, after that, for actual other team comps, you can also use something like your pace late, your front pace, front late, front end, whatever you want. Just make sure you have 2 fronts so you can go and fight each other. Then for your backliners, just use triple late, triple N, or pace late, or pace late N, or whatever other variation you want to do, because all of the variations can win. Alright, all of them can win. Right, I assure you that any of these horses here in every single position, all of them have a chance to win. It's a mouse CM. Mouse CMs are more volatile than medium CMs, right? But otherwise, yep, that's pretty much this CM here, guys. Thanks for watching. I wish you good luck with your trainings and your auto parenting. And after that, if you want to support the channel or if any other questions, feel free to like and subscribe. Join me on my YouTube and Twitch live streams. You can also join me on my socials that I'm sure the editors will be just pasting over here. Right, the Discord also has a lot of very good players who have a lot of free time on their hands and are willing to coach some people for free even. So feel free to just come and join us here. Right, so that's it guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time, and once again, good luck. Bye bye.